Okay, well, it is raining here in Seattle. Who would have guessed? But maybe there's some blue sky coming soon. But you'll be able to see this is the Bulkhead Delete kit that I've been working on for a little time here. So it is not as easy as it seems. And I will show in a second why I've got the wheel off. But let me go to the back here if I can. Get past that wheel, and it is nuts back here. So this particular vehicle had a bizarre arrangement with some homemade stuff that was half bulkhead deleted, but just to make things easy, pulled out all the seats and the center console. And I have been cutting away here to get this. There is aluminum dust absolutely everywhere. So I basically got it all out. I have to now come around and remove this piece. But one of the things you can see, and I've seen it on Britannica. So as you come in and take that flange off that the instructions say to leave, what I've been spending some time doing, and it's an absolute pain, if you can see it, is coming in there with the aluminum angle. This one on the left hand side is a 90 degree, but that piece there is 60 degrees. So if you can find a piece of 60 degree extrusion, you're on. This side's a whole lot more difficult because the diesel gas tank filler is in the way. So anyway, there's plenty of videos on how to do this, but that was the self-tapping screws. Tapped it in, and then coming in with a whole bunch of rivets to rivet it through, and then I've got to come in and basically slice this off. But one of the interesting things is where the seatbelt mounts were. This one is not too horrible, but this is pretty damn corroded where the seatbelt mounted. And if I show it on that side, that is really badly corroded, both the bracket and then that galvanic issue with corrosion. So it looks a little rough right now. I don't think you can pick it up on the camera, but it's absolutely covered in this aluminum dust. And once I've cut this down and ground it down, I will come in and get the vacuum out, but it's absolutely everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. I should share one little trick here. So this, I bought some 90 degree aluminum stock, but you can see there that I've actually spread that out to be a 60 degree angle. And what I did, found my trusty crowbar, and if you put the angle on that and then hit it, it will spread it out. And I got the little angle measurement thingy on there, set it to 60, and you can see that it's almost, that one I didn't use, this is just a piece of scrap, but that'll get it to 60, unless you can find a piece that's comes that way. It would be a whole lot easier. It was not easy to bend. This stuff is not bendy. It's pretty damn rigid. So anyway, all right, I'm going to get back to it. It is painful. All right, major cleanup. I've never seen so much aluminum dust in my life. It is absolutely everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So it's all cleaned up, and I've just dummied it in there to see that it does indeed fit, and it does indeed fit. And it's actually going to look pretty good. You can see why you need to take the flanges off, although maybe that'll move up and in a little bit, but they were a little bit off. There's no amount of folding. I don't think they would have got those. So that's done. And it does, I think it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. There is one thing that I'm puzzled about. I didn't bring it out here, but this is obviously aluminum. There's a bracket that's about an inch, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch down beyond that. So when I ratchet this, put these bolts through, the plate that they gave us will not work. I'll try and get some pictures underneath it here in a short bit. But if I'm going to mount screws down into that to hold it square, I'm going to have to pad that out with some like shims, or else it's going to be pulling down on this with a gap. Maybe it'll work, but I don't know. But anyway, actually I think that looks pretty good. But then you can see the nasty corrosion there. I'm going to have to treat that. And it's pretty gnarly. I'll get it all cleaned up, but there's the diesel tank. And yeah, so it'll be fun. I think what I have to do is come in, take all the bolts out, tilt the roof to allow me to take the side panels out, and with the side panels out I can come in and drill and cut and whatever the fabrication requirement is for this. But I can't do that without having the roof off. Okay, so you can see what's going on here. I've raised the roof. I've got it on jacks here. Anybody who said this is easy, it is not easy. And doing it outside, maybe I should have just taken the whole blessed roof off and be done with it, but it is a pain. I did get the sides out. Everything's rusted up. The pins that come up are all rusted up. I've got some major treatment to do on there. Same over here. And I swear when I put the bracket in, I did a little test fit with just one side done. Those holes are not in the right place. And that's not in the right place, so I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna now come in here with this one. I think it's this other one. And yeah, that's what I need. And then I gotta drill out this one here, drill it out, and then that becomes a template. But what a pain. Yeah, this is hard. This is very, very hard. Much harder than I thought. So a little overdue with an update here. But I'm now on to, you see, primering the tub mounts, whatever they call those, tub rails. So they're a little rusty once I took it off, and maybe I should have cleaned that up a little bit more, but I'm going to spray over that and it'll never get seen. But I've cleaned everything out. It is a lot of work, and there are more aluminum shavings than you can shake a stick at, so they're absolutely everywhere. So a lot of cleaning here. I kind of messed up a little, I think, on my, when I put that bracket underneath, the aluminum bracket. I think you can see that under there, maybe just not great, not my best work. And then I did do a dummy fit of the bar, and I'll show a little bit more video of that here soon, but it's not good. It is absolutely oversized for the size of the tub. I did get it in. I had to really butcher it, and I'm going to butcher it yet more, but it pushes out the size of the tub. The tub at the back was bigger than the front, and now the front, once that's in, and the best I can get, is actually a lot wider, so it is a pain. I think they've got the wrong sizes, but anyway, so I've got some cleanup here, some painting down there, and then I can get the whole thing in and hopefully be done with this ridiculous project. Actually, then I've got to go in there and refit all the good stuff up on the top side and make sure I don't forget anything again. Okay, just a quick upside down view of what it looks like once I took the side panels off. So you can see there where the rust started and the moisture must have come in, and it obviously wasn't sealing very well. So there's a lot of rust in there. It obviously wasn't seating correctly because of that, maybe. A little forensic stuff going on here. But yeah, I guess I just have to rip all of this out and then I got the new one, I think from LR, I think it was, so I'll have to put all that back in. So I'll rip it all out, get it cleaned up, and we're fresh to go when I get the painting done. And big project, damn it. So big day. We are all cleaned up, painted, not great, not sure whether the color matched. But we have everything basically cleaned up, looking pretty tidy, not great, maybe a little bit better on this side. We've painted, and now we get to install this sucker. And again, it is going to push it out. I've tried to modify it a little bit, but there's not a lot of give, so these sides are now going to be pushed out further than the rear. So we'll see how it goes, but I will give it a shot and we'll see how it looks. Well, quick check-in. Part 1 is done. It was not easy. You have to reach around from this side into the wheel well to get in. The bolts don't line up. I actually ended up having to open up the holes that I drilled in the body here. I just needed an extra little bit because I couldn't get the thread or the screw to find the thread. It was slightly off. Anyway, it all sucked up, but boy, that is torqued down. I don't know how far to torque that down, but that is it's almost bent this a little bit, but I guess it's going to be as strong as can be. And over there, this is absolutely solid. So now I'm going to have to come in with the bar and just wrestle that sucker in there, and that's not going to be easy. Anyway, part 1 done. Well, I'm not sure I took a video of it all installed, but I have now taken it out because this thing is so badly out of shape. Or should I say, it's an half an inch too big, the bar on either side. The brackets are in the wrong place. I'll show that in a second. So what was happening, and it's back to normal now, it had completely pushed out the side. There was a bow down here where the bracket is. And see, I can still see it just a little bit. It was such a pronounced bulge over there. And the same thing over here. You can just, maybe just see it a little bit, but it's actually gone back and bounced back. So that was pushing it out. The door wasn't closing down the bottom there because I guess it was bent, and that door has now gone back to where it should be. And I also need to do something. That slope there, that is all fripping bent now. So this is a freaking disaster. It's not so bad on that side, but it's still not square. So I've taken the whole thing out, but let me show you. So here's the little storeroom with all the good stuff in there. But here's the freaking piece, and I know it's probably designed to be that way, but I think this needs to go across to here, and that would give it, what, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. I did widen the holes to try and make it, or give it a little bit of wiggle room, but that didn't seem to work. So yeah, so I think I need to somehow cut this sucker off and get it re-welded across there, which will not be easy. Same on the other side. Insane. Okay, so fresh day here. It's a little hacked off with this thing. Again, that bar is way too big. I'm gonna split it off and I have to take off the mounting bracket and cut it and re-weld it. I don't know how I'm gonna do that because I'm not a welder. Anyway, so I've now got everything in there. I will never have to touch these bolts again. And so everything's in, a little bit of wiggle room there. But what I'm going to do is get the sides on because it's going to rain and I just want to get the sides on. So I picked up this YRM piece here, that's the seal. It's very thick, but I guess they know what they're doing. Got the cutouts there, that's for that little bracket. And what I've done is I just took a little, whatever you want to call it, drill bit, and I put a little recess in there just to give me something so I can put those, they kind of fit on top and sit down a little bit better on the rail. So anyway, so that's done. So I'm going to see if I can, and then I guess you take that, and then that sits with a double-sided tape in here. So that's the plan. Yeah, so those things seem to sit pretty centrally in there. And then a little bit comes over the edge there. This one, in my mind, is a little bit, well, maybe it's correct. Anyway, it seems to fit in, so I'll peel off the double-sided tape and then we'll be ready to go. All right, so the saga continues. So again, this bar is too big, won't fit, and I am going to endeavor to cut the ends off, and then I can shrink it down, and then I can somehow work out how to weld that back on, but kind of move it up there. So there's two of them. I'll cut it off and again see how this goes. It's not pretty. Okay, saga continues. So I'm going to attack this bar. Obviously, we said it's too big, just ridiculous. And so what I'm going to do is now see if I can grind this off. It's got a weld, big old weld here, and then on the inside. So it's going to be not particularly easy, but I'll have to get those off because then I have to shorten the bar. And once I shorten the bar, I can move these up and work out if I can work out how to weld. But absolute pain in the behind. Well, not quite as easy as I thought. Cut off wheel, no. Big chop saw, no. And then the big dog. That took it off straight away. So I've lopped that off, and that's what it looks like. I just hope that I haven't done it taken too much off, which I don't think I have, because it really was way too big. So I'm going to clean that up, put it in, kind of get a feel for what how I tack this thing on, and then I go somehow learn how to weld. Okay, well, it is in, or at least jigged up. So those are just the loose brackets. I'll pull those off in a second, but it fits perfectly, absolutely perfectly. So what I took off is basically that. So what is that? Is it ½ an inch? Maybe just a fraction less than ½ an inch. Let's take a look. I'll measure it here. Let's see. Yeah, just under ½ an inch, and that's all I took off. Or maybe it was ½ an inch with the saw blade. But ½ an inch either side. That's how much too large it is, and that's why it wouldn't fit. So I've got to work out now whether I come in there and weld it, or what the devil I do. I'm not quite sure. So, but at least it's ready to go. So what I also did, put in all the bolts. I can't remember if I videoed this already, but all the bolts are all in on the roof panel. But I have a bit of a predicament, and you can see it here. So the door is closed. I haven't snugged this down yet, but the gap, look at that. That delta difference is the same as this. So it must have previously sat so low. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. There's not a lot of, there's absolutely almost no room to, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do on that. But anyway. Okay, What a complete and utter shit show. I would not recommend these. I would not. I guess there's another brand called P&P where you actually don't even have to take the window or the sides off. Maybe it's sized correctly, but this has been an absolute nightmare from the beginning. So I did have to cut off the ends, move it in, re-weld it. I did learn how to weld, so that was good. So it is all in there. The sides don't buckle, but the problem is I do have 2 bolts in there, and that's in, and it's pretty solid, and I'm pleased that it's almost symmetrical. But let me go underneath and show you the problem. I'm not sure if it works well, but so under this you see there is a bracket. That lower bolt, I can't get my hand up there to show, but that bolts in and pretty tight. But you can see there the other hole pops out exactly at where that cross member is. So there is no way to put a bolt on there. Just crazy, and I don't necessarily fancy cutting that back. I guess maybe that I could have taken that bracket off. It's got some bolts there, but it seems as though that's an important bracket to have, and to remove it would not be good. So I am not sure what to do with that. Painful. Anyway, it's in and it's strong, but it just only has 2 bolts instead of 1. Well, the last video I just finished off. I ended up putting the bar in there, and I spent an awful long time getting the seats in. I broke the seats don't work, I need to find a seat. And now I thought, quick job. I've had these for about 2 months, 3 months, these BritPart fold-up seats. And you would have thought it would be a piece of cake to get these in. Brackets, little slots there to put them under. You can see I've scratched the bejeebers out of it. It's not the right size. It's absolutely not the right size. So the bracket that goes on the back of that, these holes, these are the original holes. They kind of to the side. They should be, I've had to put holes in. So on this one, I think it's going to be the mirror image. I'm going to have to put holes there and there, or else it does not span the gap, and that one goes on the other side, but it doesn't fit within these slots. So again, perfectly the wrong size. Congrats, BritPart. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Well, they're in, and it looks good. It looks good. I don't think anybody appreciates how many hours have gone into getting that bar in there. The old bulkhead pulled out, the seats, and I did. Again, the only way to make it work was that bracket. It had to be cut. The holes are in the wrong place, and it's the only way it would feed into the back. So that's how it goes. I basically shoved it back up against the wall. It kind of locks it at the back there. Actually, it works fairly well. And then I pushed it back sufficient so that when it comes down, it rests on the bit there, to make it fairly secure. Yeah, so that's it. That is it done. We got a few more things to do. I need to put seat belts in. This is again the most bizarre roof arrangement that I've ever seen. I haven't seen another Defender with this in there. It has that thing on top, but I got it all in. Lights got to go in. Make sure the bulb's done. I got some window seals, and then I need to replace the seat belts, or find some seat belts to go down there, because right now it doesn't have any. So once we do that, we'll be off to the races. So we are 100% finished, and actually we've got the interior lights to work. So these were all completely corroded, so they weren't working. But anyway, seats are in. I do need to work out how to get lap belts for those. But yeah, it's all tidy. Seat belts, lights, headliners, and unfortunately I have a broken seat. So I'm on the hunt for some seats. But other than that, we are done. Finito.